If you have no clue what exactly omniscript is, in this video I'm going to give you detailed explanation about omniscripts. So whenever you want to create a guided path, that's where you use omniscripts. Now, what exactly is guided path? So for an example, let's say you want to build a website where you are going to take the name and phone number of a user, and then when they click on next, then you are going to take address, and then again click on next, there you are going to take their billing details and all that stuff. So this is a guided path. A real world example would be that if you have ever been to Policy Bazaar, what they do is they first take your details. As soon as you click on next, they take your age and they take your requirements and all that stuff. So that is basically a guided path. So similarly, if you want to create a guided path, in that cases we use omniscripts. So let's go ahead and create our omniscript first. Let's say learn omniscript. I'm going to give learn omni, and let's click on save. So as soon as I'm going to save, first of all it's going to create an omniscript. Yeah, it has generated. So now, as you can see, within an omniscript, it is showing me step 1. So this is nothing but the step 1 of your guided path. Okay, this is the first step of your guided path. If you want, you can add more steps to it. Now, let me compare it with the already built tool of our Salesforce. So consider this omniscript very much similar to that of the flows, screen flows to be precise. So it's very similar to that of the screen flows. And each of this step that you are seeing right now can be considered as a screen component. So as you can see, I have created a screen component right now. His name is step 1. Similarly, if you want to compare it with our omniscript, this step 1 can be considered as one screen screen of the flow. Similarly, if I want to add one more screen after this, all I need to do is I need to add more steps. I can just drag and drop over here. Automatically, one more screen component is added, which is similar to that of a step inside the omniscript. Now within the same step, what you can do is just like example, for an example, if we go to the screen component, if we want, we can add name field, we can add phone field, and in the next screen we can add more things, right? For an example, I want to add an address field example. Okay, I can do the same thing within omniscript as well. And in order to add add those particular fields, you can just go to build and search text. So you can see over here under inputs, I can find text. So I'll just drag and drop. And now I'm going to give it as name field. Label as name. More fields I'm going to add. I'm going to also add a phone field. Or let's say I'm going to add one more text field, which is going to be named as phone. I'm going to name it as phone field, which will be labeled as phone. In the next screen, what I'll try to do is I'll try to add one more field to capture the address of a person. So it will be text area field, and I'm going to name it as address field and name it as address. So basically what I did was these steps can be compared with the screen components or a screen component of a flow, and within that screen component, all I am doing is I am adding more fields as per as the need. Now if you want, you can go and make a particular field as required or make it as read only, and also you can set the default value. For an example, if you want to set the default value as test, something like that, you can also do that. And if you want, you can set up the placeholder as well. For an example, I want to set a placeholder, please enter name. And if I remove this, so basically automatically a placeholder is going to appear over here. You can also set up the minimum length of the text to the maximum length, which is 255. And also you can set up the validation rules. For an example, let's say over here inside this, you want that only 10 digits phone number should be entered. So in that case, you can just go to this validations options, and here you can add a pattern, that is a regex pattern. If you scroll over here, if you see over here, you can add your own regex pattern. You can even chat GPT, and you can find a regex pattern, and then you can add an error message that's saying that like for an example, you have added a regex pattern and you say that only 10 digit numbers is allowed. Okay, so basically whenever someone is going to put more than 10 digits, this regex pattern is going to fail and is going to throw this error. So you can also validate the records, right? Similarly, you can do the same things for the address as well. Okay, so all I have done is basically I have added a step. Basically, that is nothing but a screen component, and within that I have added multiple fields. Now, one of the most important thing while looking at the OmniScript is that this name field. Now, this name field is a required field and it can be only filed inside the property. So let's say you go to a particular component, like for an example, you went to a text field, right? And if you want to make changes to that field, for an example, you have to add a placeholder or you want to add a default value, you need to go to this properties section. And one of the important thing that I was talking about is a name field over here. And name field always has to be unique. Name field cannot be same or duplicate within some one omniscript. So for an example, I have this omniscript, his name is step 1. Okay, I cannot make another omniscript or another step with the name as step 1 because it will just throw me an error that this is already in use. Okay, and also you can keep the label as per as you want. Okay, you can keep it step 2 as well or step 1 as well, it's fine. Step labels can be duplicate, but the name has to be always unique. Okay, even you can see inside this name I have added name field, right? Phone as phone field and address as address field. Now let me first of all duplicate it and let me preview it. Like once you have built it, you have to also test it out, right? Whether it's working fine and how it's looking and how fields are looking. So for that purpose, you can just go and click on preview button at the top. Now, as I explained you this name fields, right? That's why I opened it inside the new tab, which is a very important thing. I'm going to explain you the name fields. So if you see right now, under step 1, I have something called as name field. And under the same step 1, I have phone field as well, right? So right now, if I go and see, if I enter something like test user example and phone as something, if you see at the right side, you can see a JSON getting created parallelly. And this JSON is equivalently, the node of each of this JSON is equivalently matching to the name field. Okay, for an example, over here, the name field of the step 1 was step 1, right? So that's why you are seeing step 1. And under that step 1, we had two fields, name and phone, okay, whose name was name field and phone field. And similar nodes are being created inside the JSON, as you can see right at the right side. Name field, test user, phone field, and 123 whatever it is. If I click on next, it's going to take address. Again, under the step 2, if you go back to this OmniScript, you can see under the step 2, I have one more field called as address field. Now, whatever address I'm going to put inside this, right, automatically again a JSON will get created over here. Under the step 2, I have that address field. Now, this is very important because if you have not watched my DR and DR videos, like data raptors videos, you need JSON to create the records. So that's why you need to create a proper JSON over here so that you can pass the same JSON to the data raptor and it will create the records for you. So basically what it's doing is it's generating the nodes and it's generating a proper JSON over here at the right side as you put the values inside the OmniScript. So this was all that I had to explain inside the OmniScript. If you found this video helpful, I request you to please like this video and subscribe to my channel.